Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. The Snyder Cut, also known as Zack Snyder's Justice League, is finally upon us. After years of being locked up in studio cans and Zack Snyder's personal laptop, we finally got to witness the finished 4-hour version of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Before I begin to review this film, I just want to say that I have a certain bias towards this film because I'm a huge fan of Zack Snyder and the kind of cinema that he makes. Whether it is creating absolute visual masterpieces like 300 from Frank Miller's graphic novels or making other DC movies, I have always liked what Zack Snyder has had to offer. So let's get straight to it. This video of mine is a completely non-spoiler review, so don't worry about it if you haven't seen the film. I'm just going to give you a verdict about how good or bad the film is. Zack Snyder loves opening his films in grand style, and this is no different. Right in the initial 2 to 3 minutes, you realize how different this version of the film is from the one that was released in the theaters in 2017. As shown in the trailers leading up to this film, this one starts off immediately at the climax of Batman vs Superman, where Superman is dying at the hands of Doomsday. And so begins the journey of Bruce Wayne to recruit a team of super beings who will be the only line of defense against an invisible but an impending threat to all of existence. The big bad villain of this film, Steppenwolf, is out to get the mother boxes, and he will stop at nothing to fulfill his promise to his master, Darkseid. If you ask me if this is the same film as the one that you saw in 2017, yes, the outline of the plot is the same, but it is a completely different film with additional footage of more than 2.5 hours that was chopped off from the theatrical cut. Let me tell you that as a comic book geek and a huge DC Comics fan, I absolutely loved what Zack Snyder did with this version. All the League members get their moments to shine, whether it is Cyborg, Flash, Aquaman. They all have complete fleshed out story arcs. While watching this film, one also needs to remember that Zack Snyder had a very specific vision for all of these characters and had their story arcs well planned out over the course of 3 Justice League films. What took Marvel Cinematic Universe 15 to 20 films to reach, Zack Snyder was trying to do that in 4 to 5 films. Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and his 3 Justice League films were a finite story within itself. His approach to these DC characters is very mythical, and that contrast between his approach and what Marvel does is very visible in this film. He treats all these superheroes as gods walking among men. And given the epic scale and the large canvas of this film, it works beautifully. There is much more action, much more background story, and the film feels like one giant cohesive story. And while you're watching this film, it's just like a comic book come to life. And Zack Snyder's frames almost feel like pages ripped out of Apocalypse and the Injustice storylines from the DC comic universe. One important point that I want to make here is that if this film had come out in 2017, Marvel Cinematic Universe would have had a huge problem in upgrading what they showed us in Infinity War and Endgame. I'm not saying those films are bad, those are really epic movies in their own right, but this film is on another level. This film beats the epicness of comic book superheroes of Avengers 1 and Avengers 2 very easily. If I have to say that if I go back in time and view this film in 2017, I would have said this film is way ahead of its time. As a DC fan, as a Zack Snyder fan, as a Justice League fan, this film was extremely fulfilling for me. And I feel like justice has finally been done to the characters of Justice League. I can't wait to watch what Zack Snyder does with Justice League 2 and 3, which I think are going to be announced very soon. For my final rating, I'm going with 8.5 out of 10. If you like this video, like it, share it, subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.